Morning, everybody. Sunday morning. I didn't get to do any videoing yesterday because we were just did our normal work day and then got home and we were just humping, just trying to get kids' truck apart, get that ready for blasting because Black Sheep that's ready to go. So we're gonna water blast is what's gonna be happening. So I'll show you some of the stuff we're working on and got accomplished. Hi, Peanut. What are you doing? We got this up last night. What a treat that was. Oh, before I forget. And we put a dent in Cody's hood. Right here. So yeah, that's perfect. Not really. So today we're going to get the gas tank out of this. Get rid of what's left of the bumper. These got to come off, as you can see. We're just going to put new ones on here. The frame, blast the frame, I think that'll come out nice. These were new, but we might replace them again. These are coming off. He doesn't plan on hauling anything. Those. I don't know how bad they are till we get them off. Get the gas tank out of it, and then remove all the lines, and then this will be ready to blast. We did like this Ho Chi Minh quickie paint job on here, just to get something down. It's got to be done one more time to get that covered. So, till John shows up, lunchtime, a little after lunch, something like that. Back on casino. Yep, I just have her. Peanut, come. Good girl. Yep. I've got these carbs great. Cruise, my air fuel ratio is like 13.5, and as you can see, they don't look too great right now. I can see, yeah. So, take a little peek underneath that gasket right there. There's one of the modifications we made to the intake. That was one. And we took you see in that hole there's no wall between the front hole and the back hole. We got rid of that also. I'm trying to take 4 idle circuits, because this carb has one, front and back, eliminate the back 2 on each carburetor. The only reason I'm trying it is because I noticed that I have 2 600s that have transfer slots in the back. Which are, you gotta forgive the phone flopping around. See that slot right there? That's a transfer slot. Well, below that slot, there's an idle hole on some carbs. That carb doesn't have them for some reason. The 600, 8557, I believe is the number, doesn't have them. My 390s do. I'm still getting way too much air, too much fuel. The idle's is still rich, and I thought I had it straightened out. No. And at light throttle through the transfer slot, it's just a mess. So I'm thinking if I get rid of both these idle circuits on the backside first, that might help. Because the purpose of that idle circuit on the backside is to keep fresh fuel back there, even if you don't use the 4-barrel. While this car, they're open all the time. So I'm not worried about that. I'm going to keep the transfer slots in the back, but I'm going to block off the idle circuits. And all I did was use set screws to block them off. So I'm going to put this one back together, because as you see, I got it disassembled. And being that I'm going that route, I'm putting my air bleeds size and my idle feed restriction size back to stock in the front of each carb, and I'm going to go from there. Which means I'm probably going to have a nightmare of tuning again, but you never know. So I'm going to set up and drill a couple brass plugs. So I'll show you that as soon as I set up. I don't know. See this little brass plug? This is what we use. And I take them. Tommy made me a little jig to put them in. I just put them down the jig. Like I said, all I have for my air bleeds is a Harbor Freight bit set. And it works fine for that. That's that tape measure I destroyed. Crank this all the way up. Man, I gotta clean the drill. Ooh, it's pretty ugly. I guess I gotta get you up higher. I'm gonna attempt to do this holding the drill, but I don't know how it's gonna work. Holding my phone and working the drill. Got to get it centered. I think this drill bit's been doing wobble pops or something. Okay, folks, I can't do both here. You get the drift of it. I'm going to drill these and I'll be right back. Now, I drilled these little brass orifices out. My pin gauge only goes, see, I don't know if you see the hole in them or not, but then I'll take my little brass pin gauge and put it through. These are 60. I drilled 63, so there's a little bit of slop, but that gives me an idea. And then, see, here's my little jig for doing it. All I'm going to do with these is put these back in where we had machined and tapped for them. We said we eliminated these in here. We drilled those completely out and tapped them inside here instead because there's really not enough meat on the outside there to do it. Put that in there. Put that one in there. Turn them in. Just snug. You don't have to kill them. There, that's the end of that. Now, move this aside for now. Remember, you should always replace this gasket. I'm bad for it. I don't. Not all the time. I'm going to take this 8.5 power valve out and I'm going to put probably a 10.5 in it. I'm not 100% sure yet. I got to think about it a little more. And these idle air bleeds, no, idle feed restriction, sorry. I need to change these. I need to go back to 28. Now, this is my holly box here. I pretty much have everything in here that I could possibly need. Now I remember what I wanted. I need a gel. We're going to dig into my 8,556,000 power valves and see if I can find look for the new ones, look for the new ones. A 10.5, unless I have one in my box here. I didn't think of that. I have a bunch of them in here too. Six 6.5, 8.5, well, we're up to 9. That's better than 8. Here we go. See, the thing is with the dual quads, I want my fuel enrichment to come in before I have to start opening the secondary carburetor. So that's why I'm switching. See, they have numbers on them. 10.5, 9.5. That kind of stuff. I get rid of my WD-40. Because I found if you go too lean under light throttle, like when you're pulling a hill, you tip in it, you don't get that extra fuel, she'll rattle, she'll ping. So for the couple seconds you're in the power valve, it doesn't hurt to have that extra fuel. As I said about WD-40, look, one-piece gasket. Thanks, Bill. I never thought about that till I watched SRC Garage. That works awesome. Do I use the same one over? Yeah. Should I? Probably not, but I do anyway. Squirt some on there, get her lubed up. Turn it upside down. That way the gasket stays in one piece. Doesn't slide off the little ridge it's on. I also found lubing that gasket up, you don't have to tighten them as hard either. They tighten real easy. There. Now, this is going to be the fun part. Because I have got a total mess out of these. I need 28s. I think I had like 8,000 28s, but I'm not 100% sure. So, I'll get my 28,000s pin gauge out, and I'll start poking. Eventually I'm going to find it. Maybe I'll get lucky right out the gate and find it. Nope. See, I have these all mixed up again. that's not it. I may have to drill to get what I need. I thought I had them, but for some reason these are all turning out to be not what I wanted. That's a, see, that's a 28, but that's an air bleed. Alright, I will I'm gonna pause on this until I find the ones I need. Just shot another bee down with brake clean. Okay, now, I'm pretty sure I went over all this before, but refreshers don't hurt. Idle feed restriction bleeds. I tap these. Used to come in the bottom. Actually. Yep, right there, that hole. Drilled the brass plug out, and I relocated them up here, is where they are now. So I'm going to take both of them out. Like I said, I'm putting the front metering block back to stock settings. The primary. The secondary will be completely, idle circuit will be blocked. But now, what I'm doing with, do I know if it's going to work? Nope, wild guess in the dark. The primary on the second carburetor, I'm going to set the idle circuit to match the secondary idle circuit that was on the back side of the 4-barrel carbs. That's what I'm going to do. These, you got to really be careful with these, try to get them in. So essentially, I'll have the idle circuit on the primary side on one carburetor, and the other carburetor will be set up on the primary side like the secondaries were. So I'm trying to eliminate, instead of 4 idle circuits, I'm trying to get down to 2. And you don't crank these hard, you just run them in there. Right inside that hole right there, you just run them in there and snug them. Yeah, what are you doing? Yep, she's up to no good again, I'm sure. Great. Okay. Now you get some gaskets. Secondary we didn't touch. We only did the primary. Is this new? Primary bowl gasket, or metering block, the main body gasket. And if I remember right, because they're using the WD-40, the fuel bowl gasket is still like brand new. So, get out the WD-40, have a swig of coffee, you know, that's kind of important. Everybody wonders, that's my CB handle for like 30 years. I drive truck for a living, unfortunately, but I do, and that was my CB handle. Okay. Get the scamuts out. There, that works. Give her a sponge bath. Gotta make sure it's all coated, at least that's the way I do it. And a little bit on this O-ring, because if it gets a flat spot, you're gonna seep fuel. So I may get a little bit of juice on there. And then this. See, there's only one way you can put these on. You put them on the wrong way, which, until you put them on, you don't know. You put them on wrong. They won't fit over the pegs. Easily work it, there we go. Okay, fuel bowl's hiding around here somewhere. You gotta pull the rubber out. Put that back on there. Those you have to watch. We use these too many times, they'll literally break through here at the top. So you have to really watch when you put fuel back to it. What are you doing, Mother? Put a little bit on there, just a little bit on my finger, to lube that up good. Just a little bit of scamuts on the fuel because I don't feel like using the paper towel. That's good for that. Shake it off. That works. On we go. She's messing me up a little bit because I didn't put the main body back on yet because there's something I want to show you there. Take these bolts. A little lube is good on them because you're steel into aluminum. So that little bit of lubricant always helps. Messy, but it helps. There should be one more around here somewhere. Okay, we'll snug them down and we'll flip it. I'll show you what I did to the main base plate. I will snug them up once I get the main body back on. Now, come on now, get out of there. What I did was, I wish I knew where my pointer screwdriver was. I don't see it. There it is. Secondary idle circuit is in here along with your transfer slots. Transfer slot here, the secondary metering hole for the idle is below it, and I plug those. I use those brass set screws, and I actually plugged the idle circuit on each one. I'm going to set this up for square while I have it apart. If you count the turns, a half, one, a half, one, two turns, and you get your square. And the problem, though, if you do the two, like everybody here, you're hearing all the videos, which that is usually right. You want a little bit of a square in your transfer slot showing, like 20 thousandths. But when you do that with these carburetors, this port here, I believe, I'm going to check right now to make sure that I'm right before I say something. I think this is time spark. If I shoot WD-40 in that hole and it comes out here, that's the time spark hole. So no, you cannot do a square with this carburetor. Nope. Okay, which one? We'll do this, we'll find it. It's the big one. Okay, it's the big hole. So, I never actually checked this before. Gaskets on here, and that's the way it goes. Yep. So, those are there. So then if I put it to here, I'm double checking myself. That's what I thought. That hole right there is for your vacuum. And if you go till you have transfer slots showing, what's going to happen is the hole for the vacuum advance is exposed just a little. Which means you're going to pull vacuum on your vacuum advance all the time. I'll bet you that comes out that hole. Yep, I was right. So, Peanut, where are you? Don't be stealing wrenches. That theory does not work with these. So we're going to figure this out right now, how far open you can open the throttle. In this motor, it's not much, because it just doesn't like it. Oh, is it touching? I'm going to get it to not touch. Right there is pretty well a neutral. So, I'm going to try to let you see this. I hope it works. Your transfer slot is here. Your idle or your vacuum, time vacuum is here. Because of the if I go, that's why it looked weird. Sorry, folks, I had the wrong side. It's this side. Your time vacuum port is perfectly even with the bottom of your transfer slot. So if I set this up for a square on the transfer slot, the time vacuum port is being drawn on, which means it's going to advance your timing. So there's no way to do that. So I have to figure out now where to put my initial setting. Can't believe I never caught that before. I never studied it that close because all the other carburetors I use aren't like that. And another way to tell if you're into the time vacuum, start it up without the vacuum hooked up for the distributor, and then plug it in and see if the engine revs up. If it does, with this carburetor, I mean, you have your flippers are open too far. So we're gonna just do a turn. I'm gonna start them out at one turn. So there's no way that you can do the transfer slot theory with these. It won't work. Why do those lights just do? I don't know. Okay, we'll match this up one more time. Make sure all our holes match up. And we'll get out the goo again. Move this up good. Not good enough. Apparently we need more juice. Man, I don't know if this thing is just soaking this stuff up or what. It's literally soaking it up. I never had one do that before. There, I cheated. Now we'll put this on its lid. Neighbors are making noise, apparently. On we go. All the holes line up. Now, shut. Hey, shut up. Make sure this is good and clean. I'm going to use a couple of bolts to start it, but then I'm going to take those bolts out again if I can figure out where I put them. Great. They're here some. Okay, we got to read this. This is just getting out of hand. You have got to go over there, and hopefully the dog don't knock it off. you can come back up here. Line this up again. I'm going to put a bolt in each corner of this base plate until I get it started. Then once I get it started, I'm going to use lube on a couple of the other ones. I just want to make sure the gasket stays lined up and there's no issues. That should be it right there. Come on now. You are not playing nice. It's because something's wrong. Nope, the gasket moved. And so did the screwdriver. Try it again. That should be the ticket. And again, I reiterate, I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's something I'm trying. Now the rest of these, I'll give them a spritz. Just light. Shake them off. You don't want no extra in there. I don't know why that old screw from there. Just enough to get them started. Now I'll start these 4. I'll back the other 2 out. Put a little skamutz on them. Then I'll snug them all up. Put the vacuum secondary on. And this is done. Now I got to take these 2 out. A little bit of lube on them. I got to make sure I tighten up that primary fuel bowl also. I haven't done that yet. One on that side. Oh. See, everybody makes a mistake here and there. Usually catch them though before it gets serious. Now I'll snug all these up. Now once this is done, I'm going to check my 4-barrel secondary adjustment. So what I'm actually going to do is I want to take the screw out that's in it, turn it around, and put it back in. So I can get to it from the top instead of underneath. These here, I don't kill them. I just keep going around in a circle, get a little more out of them. See, every time you go around, you hit them, they'll go farther without killing them. Okay, that's it for that. It looks like the carburetor again. Now, I don't know if my little screwdriver will get this out or not. This is a secondary adjusting screw. I probably should have done this before I put the base plate on it, but that's fine. I just have to use my little wrench that I have. Now I'm going to try to put it back in this way. This should be fun. That was a blooper. Peanut, I'm wrecking the place, so you know. There. It went back in. Because now I'll be able to just take this arm off. Maybe, may not have to take it off. And I'll be able to adjust that from the top. Instead of, I don't have to take the carburetor off, but it's kind of a nuisance from on the bottom to do it. Okay, I'm going to tighten this up. This is going to take like an hour. So I'll bring you back in the final when the carburetor is completely done. Alright, this one's done. I got my secondary working nice and smooth. You open the throttle. No binding. Here, nice and smooth. Another thing you want to check in these carburetors too is wiggle your throttle shafts. Because if you have a bad throttle shaft, it will suck air in. And if it sucks air in, well, you're in trouble then. So that one's done. So, I'm going to rattle through the next one and get it all back together, and then we'll see if I had an epic failure or if I finally got my idle where I want it. Because like I said, my power is great, my cruise is pretty good, my real light throttle, not good, big time lean, and the idle still sucks. It's there and then it's not. It all depends on the weather. So we're going to try this and see if this works. What do I got to lose? If it doesn't work, I just put it back. So I'll get it all together and then we'll bring the camera back in and see if I failed.